What's up everybody, and today I have decided to do a full review of the Cars 3 movie. So before I get into this video and explaining everything and my thoughts on it, I'd like to say if you haven't seen the Cars 3 movie yet, I'd like to say there's going to be a lot of spoilers in here. So if you haven't watched it and you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch this video and watch the movie and then come back and watch the video if you want to. You don't have to. But if you haven't seen the movie and I don't want to spoil it for you, just go watch it, okay? So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Okay, so for the people who have seen it multiple times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this may be an interesting video for you guys. I've seen it twice. The most recent time I saw it was 2 days ago, so it's fresh in my mind. Yes, it's fresh in my mind. So we're gonna go analysis the movie itself, talk about it, and explain parts and all that. So in the beginning of the movie, it's a good beginning. Lightning McQueen is racing with his friends, Carl Weathers and Bobby Swift. I believe that's the names. Okay, Bobby Swift and Carl Weathers, great friends, racing together, having an amazing time, friends and all that. And then after halfway through the career of that season, the next gen comes in and makes everything, it changes everything after the next gen racer comes in, Jackson Storm. Okay, so Jackson Storm comes in and it changes a lot of the perspective on what would happen next and all that. So then it's getting interesting after that. I believe Carl Weathers, I forget which one leaves first. I don't think the movie shows how Bobby leaves, but I know that Carl Weathers retires. So that was a interesting scene there. I believe Bobby will also retire or something like that. But Lightning was actually the last stock racer to ever be in the Piston Cup. So yeah, so it was pretty challenging for him to do all that, do all his moves, and because he's not as good as he used to, because the next gen racers are more high tech, more they have a better engine, better weight distribution, better airflow and all that. So they're a lot more built for the time that that this movie set in. And yeah, so Lightning McQueen keeps pushing, keeps trying, and then I believe it's the final race. Lightning McQueen is determined to get first place, because he doesn't want it to be on his record he's done so well and they did so bad and they took him to keep doing bad. So he just wants to I don't know, I'm pretty sure he wants to prove to anyone he's just because he's a stock car, he's not a failure. So he pushes it, yeah, on the last lap. He's pushing it, he's slowing down, Jackson Storm passes him, Danny Suarez passes him, the Violin next gen Violin racer passes him, and Lightning McQueen just gets so mad because he knows he's not going to win, so he keeps moving, he just keeps pushing his engine to the limit, even over the limit, and then he just crashes, and then that's the end of the career. I'm going to show you the video of that right now, so
Storm takes back the lead.
Unbelievable! McQueen is fading! McQueen is fading! Fading fast!
No.
So after he crashes and all that, he goes in. He's done for the season. He heads back to Radiator Springs, does all this interesting stuff. Like he just chills. He doesn't really do anything. He just relaxes, and so he's in the shed that where Doc used to be when in the car's mirror where he talked to Doc about his racing and all that. That's where they hung out, and he watched this old video of Doc racing and he saw the crash. I'm sorry, I don't have the video of him crashing because there weren't any like very HD ones, so I'm sorry I won't be able to show that with you. But anyway, he's racing, and then he crashes, and then he can relate to that. He can relate on like why, like, Lightning McQueen has like the fear of like not going back out there because that's what he loves, and you don't want to lose what you love the most. So I can understand his determination on like his fear on like why he doesn't want to like quit the racing thing because it's so big. So anyway, Lightning McQueen calls in Dusty and Rusty to tell him he bought this place, and lo and behold, they have a new racing center. So in the racing center, Sterling shows him around, like what's going on, how is he training his new racers to go up on the track for Rusty's and all that, and Lightning sees the simulator, and he really wants to go on that. He's very determined to go on that, and so he like Cruz is his trainer. She trains him the basics: suspension, stretching, oil flow. When she tipped him up on like this, so the oil can flow to the rest of his body. What else? Like speed test on like your how like good your momentum is against wind and all that. But Cruz is very determined to go in the simulator, so when he does, I'm pretty sure like a lot of like old people, like not old, but people that aren't really good with this generation of technology will kind of relate to this. Like Lightning McQueen goes on the simulator. He's very determined, so he goes on it, and so he like Storm's in the game, and like when Lightning McQueen sees Jackson Storm in the game, he like gets furious, so he wants to beat him. He pushes it, and to the point where he just breaks the simulator. Yeah, so I have a clip of that, so I'm gonna show you right now. So here it is.
This is what I'm talking about. Whoa, didn't know about those. Wait, what did it say? Is it talking?
The flag is out.
I don't see the flag. What do I do?
Go.
Go?
Go.
Oh, that's sensitive.
You have hit a wall.
Shouldn't be this hard, should it?
You have hit a wall.
You're fighting the simulator. Just race like you always do.
You have hit a wall.
There can't be this many walls on a regular track.
You have been passed by Jackson Storm.
Wait, Storm's in here?
For motivation. Storm races at 2:07. Pick it up, Mr. McQueen.
I'm trying.
You have hit a wall.
Mr. McQueen, come down from there and we'll work you up to this.
I am fine, Cruz. I can do it, okay? Whoa, 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 whoa!
You have jumped a barrier.
Sorry!
You have maimed 2 vehicles. You have destroyed a drinking fountain. You have disabled an ambulance. You are on fire. Danger. Danger. You are going the wrong way.
Look out! Look out! Turn it off! Turn it off! Get these things off of me!
You have crashed. You have crashed.
Are you all right?
You have crashed.
I've crashed.
So after Cruz, Ramirez, and Lightning McQueen get the all settled out, like they crash, and he crashes the simulator and all that. You have a talk in his room, and then Sterling invites Lightning into the room, and he's like, he tells him like he has merch. He has Lightning McQueen merch in his room. It's pretty cool. But like, Sterling's just saying like you can't race, like you're too old, you're too fragile, all that stuff. And then Lightning McQueen convinces him like if he doesn't win this race, then this upcoming race, then he won't race at all. So that's what he did. He told Sterling he'll be racing outside, and that's what he did. And so basically, they went outside. In the next scene, they like went outside and basically trained. Like cruised by his trailer and like, no, we're not training on that platform. We're gonna do it on solid ground, like the old races do. And so he does that, and then he invites Cruz to come along, and he's like, come on. You want to track my speed? You have to drive with me. And she's like, I don't really train cars on sand, so I don't know. So Lightning McQueen teaches her how to go on sand. She fails a few times, but she eventually succeeds after like 2 days or so of training on the sand. That's actually one of my funny scenes in the movie. And then Lightning McQueen gets his idea of going to Thunder Hollow Speedway, which I believe is the Demolition Derby. So he goes to that. So they go to the Derby. They do all that stuff. They like Lightning McQueen goes in as Francis Beltline. No, just a Whipple filter, I believe. Cruz as Francis Beltline, and then Miss Fritter like sneaks up behind them, like scares the heck out of them, and they're like, "Oh, we regret this. We should go back." And then like the guy who like runs the place is like number one rule. Whoever like goes in the Derby never leaves, something like that, or the winner leaves, something like that. I can't remember what he says, but it's something related to that. And so they have to like drive around and like try not to get killed. So I have a scene in that as well. So here it is.
And make way for the undefeated Crazy 8 champion, the diva of demolition, Miss Fritter!
Boom! Look at here, boys. We got us a couple of rookies. I want to call you Muddy Britches, and you Lemonade.
Hey, neither one of them has a single dent.
Oh, I'm gonna fix that!
And so after the scene, the Derbies are done. Like Cruz Ramirez wins, and Miss Fritter is defeated for the first time. But when that happens, Lightning McQueen's exposed. So now people now rejoin the Demo Derby. So he got that going for him. And then Lightning gets in this argument with Cruz Ramirez, basically arguing like, You're not a good racer, you don't really know what I'm going through, all that stuff. And then she tells him her story and like why she wanted to be a racer, but she knew she couldn't, so she had like self-doubt on that. And then like Lightning McQueen gets the idea to like go to the track where Doc raced at, which was Thomasville Speedway. So he went there and he did a lap around the track, and then he met Smokey. Okay, so he takes him to the bar. He meets his three famous racers, Luis Nash, Junior Moon, and River Scott. Those three racers that were actually friends with Doc Hudson, so it was amazing to see them in the movie. And they were cool characters, and they decided to like help Lightning prepare for his race. And so when Lightning Storm is in the bar with these three amazing racers, they tell him the story about Doc and how he was. He also told them like how he did. And so like in one of the scenes, they talk about him with this rookie. He he's facing against a rookie way faster. He's a pretty fast car. I believe he's a Cadillac. I'm not quite sure about that, but he's a pretty fast car. And so Doc, like, is challenging him. He's trying to beat him. The rookie actually tried to hit Doc into the wall, but Doc, he hit no wall. He's that good. So anyway, the rookie pins him against the wall. Well, it doesn't really pin him, but like, it closes him into the wall very tightly. So then Doc pulls this move off where he actually like flips over the rookie, which was a very, very good scene in my opinion. I actually have a video of that, so here it is right now.
Took Hud all the past River, past Lou, even Junior, but there was still the rookie to deal with. Tried slamming him into the wall, but Hud never touched any wall unless he wanted to.
And then after he gets out of the bar, Smokey's like, "This isn't. You didn't come here. You didn't come this all the way for motor oil." He's like, "No." And he like tells him what's going on. He's like, "Come here. I need to show you something." And then he was like, when Doc left, you know, he wrote to me in like 30 years or so. And then one day, letters started coming in, and they're about you. And then this part made me so happy. The flashbacks. So he shows us. He shows the flashbacks and all that. And one of the most touching lines in the most entire movie was this: the best part about his life wasn't racing. The best part about his life was training you or helping you, something like that. That was one of the best lines in the entire movie, and it just made me feel so warm inside. Like, that was a good. That's just an amazing. So he prepared. They dressed up Cruz Ramirez to be a Jackson Storm, so he had someone to race against. And yeah, he had a fun time with that, and it was like the last day. They decided to do one final training before the end, and they trained. Sadly, Lightning beat. He was very close to passing her, but he wasn't able to, so he was sad. And then he went to the race, and then when he was at the race, he was doing his thing like he always does before a race: speed. I am speed. Losers? I eat losers for breakfast. Something like that. And so, like that. And then he just goes on the track doing his thing. So I guess he goes back on the track. And he's like scared. He's like, oh, what am I gonna do? So he just goes with it. And so Smokey comes in and like is his crew chief. So that's nice because if you remember in the first Cars movie, Doc Hudson was the crew chief. So it was kind of cool to see that Doc Hudson's crew chief also was Lightning McQueen's crew chief for that movie, for that scene. So that was actually a very good idea. That was a very good idea. So like Lightning McQueen is racing. He's like halfway through the race or so. They have like a few laps left, and then he's like, I won't be able to win. So he comes into the pits. Before that, he tells Mater to someone to get to call Cruz Ramirez to get her back, because if you remember in the movie, Sterling like shouted like, you look ridiculous in that outfit. Just go back when you're doing best. Training cars, you don't deserve to be a racer, all that stuff. Very mean things. So yeah, and so he basically just said all that stuff, and Lightning McQueen was like, no, she must come. And so she was like, so they got back, and now McQueen put in is like, I forget what he says, but he's like, you know, we're like substituting her in. So they do that. Then Guido puts racing tires on her. Ramon puts up a fancy paint job on her with the 95 with a blue outline, which I love. I love that paint job of her. And yeah, and like Sterling's like, what are you doing? Like, come on. Like, Sterling does not like what Lightning McQueen is doing, and so they just lay her on the track, and so she has to like beat the pace car. So if you know the rules in NASCAR, if you don't beat the pace car out onto the track, like, I don't think you're allowed to race, or you like get kicked out, or you get something along the lines of that. So yeah, so she's able to beat the pace car, catch up to them, and then the race starts again. She has slow reaction, okay, and so she's like confused and worried about the moment. So it takes a while for her to get used to it, but then Lightning McQueen tells her stuff like she told him, like be a fluffy cloud, which I actually like that scene. I'm a fluffy cloud. I'm a fluffy cloud. That's a good therapist method. And he tells her like something about the crab, because in the beach scene when he's training her, she stopped because she didn't want to hurt a crab. Lightning McQueen says that to her, and so Lightning McQueen becomes her crew chief, which is absolutely amazing. So that's that, and then soon it's like the final episode, and Jackson Storm is getting a little worried. Like he like slows down, and Danny Flores goes in front. Yay, Danny! You have your few seconds of fame of being first. And then he like tells her, like, he gets inside of her head, okay, and so like slows it down a little bit, but then Lightning McQueen puts it back up on her spirits, and then she just goes. And then this is one of my favorite scenes. She basically just was drafting. She drafts him. If you don't know what drafting is, so here drafting is when you're like very close to someone, so they're getting on the wind and you're barely getting any. And so drafting basically just helps you like store up energy, and then you can just go out and like pass it very quickly, and that's called a slingshot if you didn't know. That's like racing terms and stuff. So she she tries to slingshot past Jackson Storm, and so Jackson Storm's like, no, I'm first, I'm the best, you're nothing, I'm going to beat you. So Jackson Storm's like she tries to pass him on the right side, but it's the left side in the movie. But if you were Jackson Storm, it was on the right side. So she passes him on the right, and he like slams. So he's like grinding her against the wall, like her side is like scraping up against the wall, and so Jackson Storm says something else like, "You were not meant to be on this track," something like that, and then or she's always like, become evasive, and so this build up of energy stores up in Cruz Ramirez, and she just lets it all out, and she does the same flip that Doc Hudson did when he was against the Rookie. So he did that. She flipped over him, and she pulled off a win. And I actually have a clip of her flipping over Jackson Storm.
Cruz, get out of there! You don't belong on this track!
Yes, I do!
Way to go, Cruz! Yes! Woohoo!
So after the race, Cruz Ramirez wins. All that, the next gen racers are congratulating her on a successful win against Jackson Storm, and then Storm is like, he's like all mad and that stuff, and so Tex Angle comes up and like, he basically wants to talk to him like man to man. You know that situation. And then after that, we have a great celebration of Lightning McQueen dressed up as the Fabulous Sons of Hornet, but you see, I don't have him because I don't have him yet. I'm trying to get him. Okay, so this is going to be the substitute for this, and Daniel Cruz Ramirez is in her variation, and then you just take a lap around. I don't think it's called Willie's Butte. I forget what that thing's called, but it's the thing where Lightning McQueen trained on in the first movie with Doc Hudson. And yeah, that is actually my thought, the whole movie, in my opinion. And I'll need to say this is actually one of the best Cars movies out there. Like Cars 1 is still gonna be a good movie, but Cars 3, in my opinion, it has a 9 out of 10, which is a very good thing. Because most movies I watch get around 8.5 to 7 out of 10, but this movie definitely is on a good liking list, in my opinion. And I just think it has a good story to it. I like that they went back to showing Lightning McQueen, because if you know, in the second movie, it was all about Mater. And I believe that movie was just made for fun, and so they can just release more characters and all that. But it didn't really have a story, but it had some story. I still like the plot to that one. But Cars 3 had a story and a plot on a whole new level. Like in my opinion, when I saw that Cars 3, I never thought it would be about racing. I thought it would be about when Professor Z gets broken out of prison, and the Lemons get revenge on Mater and all that. So that's what I thought Cars 3 would be like. But no, it took a whole different turn, and it has way better graphics, new characters, amazing characters, amazing thought to detail, and picked a lot of good people in the cast. They brought back some characters that were in the first movie. I like my favorite comeback from the first movie was Doc, because Doc was a big part of Lightning's life and a big part of the Cars 1 movie, so I'm happy that they brought that back into Cars 3. I'm happy that they had flashbacks of that scene, and like those scenes, like, they wouldn't make you cry, but they'll make you feel warm inside, like a sad, happy feeling, like a warmish feeling. It's like those dog ads you see on TV sometimes about shelters. You get this one feeling, this, like, not this pain in your chest, but this sorrow. So you get that, because that's what I got when I saw the flashback. I didn't really cry, I didn't tear up at all, but I felt like a little sad pain inside, because I just love flashbacks when I see my favorite characters in them. It just makes me feel so happy. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Have a good day. Bye.